Hey everybody, welcome to the Gootz Cast. This is on the 2nd of April, and I'm here live with Anthony Didomenico. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. Now, Anthony, I met you out in Long Island. You're a regular at Governor's and McGuire's and all those places, right?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
home clubs.
And all the clubs out there. And
Yeah.
what was your last? Let me ask this from every comedian on the show. What was your last show before everything shut down?
My last show, I think it was right in the beginning of March,
Okay.
and then things just started canceling one after the other. Like as soon as it started spreading,
Mm-hmm.
I had like a lot of private shows, so it was bigger gatherings, and people were canceling, not necessarily the venue, but the people that were going to the show, like, I don't want to go, so they just were putting it off. So then, like, as of now, like, I have nothing really on the books. Everything's been canceled up until like June, July.
Yeah, well, I don't. I think even if you had some stuff on the books, it would still be canceled. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it wound up happening. Yeah, my last show actually was at Governor's, crazy enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the Thursday before they shut everything down. And
Okay.
they didn't have a full house in the main room, but they had a good enough house. And they also had people in the little room, so James put me on both shows. And after the second show, I said to him, "Are you going to close with this?" "I'll never close." "You kidding me? I'm never closing." And I'm like, "You see he's going to make you close?" "No way. I'm never closing." "Okay." And then, obviously,
Well,
3 days later. Yeah.
yeah, they made you close.
Yeah, so what are you gonna do? But Anthony, you're like a lifelong wrestling fan, right? Just like me.
Yeah, love wrestling.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Are you excited for this weekend?
No, I'm really not. And because me and my friends always made like a big thing of it. It was like our Super Bowl party.
Hmm.
Like we would like pick wrestlers and get dressed up as them and like cut a promo on my friend's front lawn before, you know, typical stuff 40-year-old guys do. And but like this, it was always like a big thing for, I think with the crowd not being there, that's, even though I'll be watching on TV,
Hmm.
that's always like such a big thing, especially when you have guys that are about to win their first titles and stuff like that. It just plays into the atmosphere plays into it a lot. And also like dictates the match too. So I don't know how this is going to really play off. It doesn't feel like Wrestlemania. It doesn't feel like a Mania weekend to me. So I'm
Yeah,
not looking forward to it.
I feel like the two best matches are gonna be AJ and Cena because here's why. I think they're gonna treat it like they treated the backyard brawl
Yeah.
at WrestleMania 12, which was the best part of that show. But we'll talk about that later. So I think those matches might be good because they'll be treated as like goofy movies. But I like everything in the Performance Center is gonna be fucking odd. Like,
Yeah. And I think most of it's shot already too. I think they shot a
yeah,
lot of it.
they had to shoot everything by last Thursday because of the stay-at-home order.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I don't know what they're gonna do because now Florida has a full lockdown order, like we do, a full lockdown order. So I don't even know if they can film because they were supposed to go not tomorrow, but next SmackDown was supposed to go live, and they shut down all non-essential business. I can't see how Vince. I'm an essential business. Come
Yeah.
on, let me in.
They have don't they have the Raw in the can for
They do
after
have they have
Mania?
Raw in the
Yeah.
can, but I think that honestly, like I would not hate it if it was like Triple H and like Michael Cole or someone like or even Bruce Pritchard in a studio like Primetime Wrestling used to be, just cutting to
Yes.
like old matches and rare shit. You know?
Yeah, well, like hearing about like or just doing like a podcast type of thing, even like where you show a match and then you hear like the backstory of it. And
Like something to wrestle.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
like that's why I love that podcast, because you get the ins and outs. But here, like, you'll actually show the match, have
Yeah.
the guys who were in the match, and just have a discussion about it. At least it's entertaining.
Yeah, you have them zoom in. You know, you're gonna just have like, like you want to do like, oh, the career of Seth Rollins, let's say. You can have Seth
Hmm.
Rollins come in on Zoom and be like, oh yeah, that match, this, that, and the third. You don't have to
Yeah.
have him there in the studio. And then like
No.
I think fans are gonna be cool with it because like it's a worldwide fucking pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, everybody understands like things are changing right now and things are
Yeah.
different. So if like okay, this Monday night we're not gonna have Raw, but we're gonna have this. Like they're already starting to show old Mania matches.
Yeah.
Why not have like something that's like, I mean, kayfabe's over, so let's get out of that right now and just
Yeah.
make it entertaining.
Yeah, make it fun. Yeah. And I heard they tape every house show lately. So why don't you just show a bunch of
They do.
matches? Like I think Bray Wyatt like wrestled at the last Starrcade as Bray Wyatt and Dustin. Why not show like all that shit you filmed and like fuck? I mean, the ratings are going to go down, but the ratings are going to go down with everything. You're not like, what are you going to do? Hot shot like Austin's return to the ring to get the ratings up in front of
Yeah.
no one? Like, you have CM Punk come back to fuck.
Well, I mean, that's the only thing I really tune in for is to see, because he's one of my all-time favorites. To see him
Yeah.
come back, that's but even now it would suck because the crowd's not the pop of the crowd is what
Yeah.
you want, and you want
Yeah.
when someone comes back now. Like when they say they wasted it when he came back to what's that
Backstage.
show called Backstage, because he just came out to Renee Young being excited about it. That doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, and I heard that kind of hurt his value with Vince and Triple H.
Yeah.
Like, all right, he didn't pop a rating on Backstage, so what the fuck is he gonna do for us?
I don't think anybody could pop a rating on that show. It was so bad.
Well, also like they don't. I mean, WWE barely promotes it, so like, who the fuck?
Yeah, and then no one's watching it.
The only thing reason I think they should have delayed Mania. I think they should have just put everything on hold, went to best ofs. I heard the reason why Vince didn't want to delay Mania is, and I'm starting to think this is true because I'll tell you why in a second. He got word that there is no timetable on when you can actually have a live event again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to believe that the people in charge, like guys like Vince and guys who are like in charge of Sony and stuff, have kind of written off this year. I think this is going to go longer than we think because Sony has canceled Ghostbusters and Morbius. They delayed their Last of Us Part 2. Wimbledon's been canceled.
Yeah.
Something else that's in the summer has been, like, a lot of summer events are being canceled. And to me, that tells me that, like, okay, the powers that be know that the summer's gone.
Yeah, well, even like to say if things are getting back in the summer, let's just say restaurants, bars.
Yeah.
Let's just say everything by then, just say June for argument's sake. When you have events where it's like thousands of people are going to congregate, you can't give them like a week's notice. So stuff like that, travel, especially Mania's traveling and Wimbledon's traveling. So those events, people are just like, you know what, we'll just push it off and we'll just do it here and we don't have to worry about going back and forth with it. So I think that's really what that is. And it is the unknown. We don't know really what's going to happen. We're hoping that we have a summer, but we still don't know.
But honestly, I gotta tell you, if they had just waited, and even like, let's say this, okay, you can only do gatherings of 100 or less, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had Mania at a high school gym, like even out in Bayonne. Like, I think it would be even better than just empty. I think it would feel more like Mania at the gym with 100 people there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's what I was hoping that Garden thing was going to happen. Like they were going to use
that Garden
the
would have been amazing.
Yeah, you just come back to the Garden for a small place, or like I said, even a small place like a high school gym, or even at the Performance Center when you're allowed to have people in.
Yeah.
Just people there, like have like a crowd. That's all. It's part of the show as well. It's not. It's a TV show, but it's not a TV show without a live audience. You need that crowd there.
It's kind of like stand up. You got to have a crowd. It's so weird to me. Comics are still doing this empty room comedy.
They're doing the empty room. You know what? God bless them, because I couldn't do it.
I'm not doing that.
I can't do it either.
I'll get naked on OnlyFans before I fucking do that shit. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'll make money other ways. Get on stand up in an empty room.
Stand up is a you get a reaction. Otherwise, if I get silence when I tell a joke, I just fucking ready to blow my brains out. I can't just do stand up for silence. That's a bad thing. That's what we're told.
Yeah, if no one's laughing, it's not a good thing.
Yeah. All right, so for today, I want to do like a thing to get people excited from WrestleMania. I don't know why we're getting excited. It's be the worst weekend of our lives, but
2 nights of it.
Yeah, 2 nights of it. Jesus,
too big for just one night.
Yeah, sure. That's great. But instead of like doing a preview of the show, that's no one's gonna listen to that after Saturday. I figured we talk about the best matches in Mania history. So we're going to go from 1 to 35, and each of us will pick a match as our favorite or best match of the night and talk about why it was our favorite match or best match. And I think it's going to be fun. Are you ready to start?
I'm ready. And I'll go at WrestleMania 1. My favorite match was Andre the Giant versus Big John Studd.
Okay, cool. And why was that?
I was young, too. I was like 5 or 6 at this time. Mm-hmm. So I'm probably almost 6 years old. I don't know. Just the whole thing about Andre the Giant was like – as a kid, he was a real giant.
Yeah.
And no one else was like his size. And Big John Studd was the closest thing. And to me, like that leading up to it, like it was always like the two giants, colliding in the ring. And I always loved Andre. And to me, that match was the best, just watching Andre get over on him. And to watch him wrestle at that size as a kid was just, as much as I was crazy about Hogan, like you'll see, we'll go into this and see I'm very Hogan. I'm a Hogan guy.
Yeah.
But there's something about that tag that didn't do it for me. Even as even 5-6-year-old kid, I was just in awe of Andre. And it was really, I guess, as a kid, just looking at the sheer size of him and watching him work, to me, that was my favorite match of the night.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that match, I definitely enjoyed that match. I do have to say, though, I think my favorite match, though, is the one that didn't do it for you. My favorite match, WrestleMania 1, is the tag match. Hulk Hogan, Mr. T versus Paul Noah, Roddy Piper. Just the spectacle of it. Just like, when you think about, like, they had Muhammad Ali, Liberace, Billy Martin, and just, like, the photographers around the ring. And it just really felt like a real-life Rocky movie.
Well, yeah, looking back now, like that, but I'm trying to remember as a kid, like where I was at that, but yeah, absolutely. It was the first of its kind.
Mm-hmm.
So you had like that whole, wrestling was, a hillbilly thing and people from the South liked it. No one with teeth watched it. Mm-hmm. And here it was mainstream. It was in Madison Square Garden. Like you said, you had celebrities there. It was crazy.
Yeah. I think Piper did a great job. The really funny thing, I was rewatching this match the other day, and I completely forgot. Hogan doesn't do any of it. He doesn't do the big boot or the leg drop.
No.
Cowboy Bob Orton hits Orndorff in the head, and Hogan just goes to the cover. And it was very odd. Like, this is like the biggest match in Hogan's life at that point, and he's not doing any of his signature moves.
Well, you know what it was? It was, watching like now with the network and watching older matches, there wasn't necessarily a finish. There was like, they tried to make it like as real a fight feel as possible where anything could, you can get the win off of it. And it was before Hulk must pose. It was.
Oh, yeah. Well, he does still pose at the end.
He poses, but it wasn't like, that you knew it was leading up to it. It was the comeback, the boot, the leg drop, and then he posed for 20 minutes.
It's so funny. Like if Seth Rollins, let's say, I don't know, Seth Rollins teams up with LeBron, right? To fight fucking, I don't know who he'd fight, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I don't know, let's just throw it out there. There's no way that finish wouldn't involve like a curb stomp and all the signatures. They would get all the moves in to have that on ESPN. They wouldn't have Seth Rollins win with a roll up. You know what I mean? Like, it's so funny. Like, now they're so intent on getting all the moves in every single match. Like, Randy Orton's got to hit these 5 moves, or it's not a Randy Orton match. And like, here Hogan's not hitting any moves. Yeah.
They need it for the Instagram. They need it for Facebook highlights. That's what it's become a highlight reel.
Yeah. All right, so cool. So that's WrestleMania 1. Let's move on to WrestleMania 2. What's your favorite match there?
It was Hogan and King Kong Bundy in that steel cage match. And I remember as a kid being so nervous for Hogan. Like, because you think it's real at that point.
Yeah.
Came in with the ribs taped. They got to him before. And Heenan on the outside, causing interference, trying to pull Bundy out at one point. It was like, I remember that anticipation of like, is Hogan is he gonna win this match?
Yeah.
And I think it was one of the last times where wrestling was like really real to me.
Okay.
And just I remember him like climbing over that blue cage, which is still my favorite. Mm-hmm. I wish they still use that.
Oh, I love it.
When he came down, it was like sheer happiness for me as a 7-year-old kid. It was awesome.
Yeah. I agree with you. That's my favorite match as well. Hogan Bundy. I think it's a really good cage match. I think Bundy was very underrated as a worker.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was great. I think he did a great job. This is a story that I've never really told anybody because it's so. But my aunt, I had a white aunt that lived. Whitestone, Queens?
Yeah.
Okay, I had an aunt that lived in Whitestone, Queens, and she got hit by a car late at night. She was like going to like a market or something. And we went to the hospital to see her. She was okay. And I'm sitting in the hospital, and they show Sunday Night's Main Events on the TV, and some weird fucking hospital. And they show, well, there was no CNN back then, and they show, and that the angle where King Kong Bundy beats up Hogan. And I was more worried for Hogan than I was for my fucking aunt. I was like, was Hogan going to be okay?
Yeah, you're okay, but Hogan doesn't know what happens. Hogan's got a match coming up.
Holy shit.
He's got the title.
Yeah, King Kong Bundy attacked my aunt, I would have been a little bit more worried. But I had a car, it should be all right. It's not like King Kong Bundy sat on us sometimes. All right, cool. So we're both agreeing with that. I thought that, that's a great match. I love that match. Let's move on to 3. What's your favorite in 3?
I have a tie.
Okay.
Wrestling-wise, my favorite match was Savage and Steamboat.
Hmm.
I mean, I still think today this is one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. I
Hmm.
still go back and watch it, and I'm just like, how great Savage was in his prime, and Steamboat, same.
Hmm.
But the spectacle of it, Andre and Hogan. I watched that match the other day with my nephew, and because he's getting into wrestling. He's 6 years old, and he always wants to see like Hogan and Andre because he hears about them. And just watching that match, I remember as a kid too, like I didn't think Hogan was going to win,
Hmm.
and to me, those two matches made that show and really brought wrestling into the forefront. Like
Yeah.
after WrestleMania 3, it was mainstream.
Yeah.
WWF was it.
I like Hogan Andre. I do. I used to watch all the time as a kid, but like if I have to watch one match at 3, it's always going to be Steamboat Savage.
Yeah, if I had to
Yeah.
put a gun to my head, it's because
Yeah.
I still think today that is one of the greatest matches, to me, top 5 of all time.
Oh, it's an amazing match. And I think like I'll tell you when we get as we get further along, it really like I think Randy Savage had the best character arc in
Hmm.
all of not even WWE but in all of wrestling. At least there's
Absolutely.
WWE portion of it. Not WCW they kind of went all over the map, but the WWE portion, I mean, you would have thought they had like a team of writers making up this guy's story, and it really like, I think they were just making up as they went along. But like the best thing about that match is that last shot. He's in the ring cart and he's like crying and Liz is holding him and like the lights
Yeah.
on him and he's fading into the darkness and you're like, wow, a year from now he's gonna be on top of the world. But now, like,
Yep.
he just had the best match of the night and he lost everything. He failed.
Yeah, he failed. And Steamboat, and I'm hearing like, podcasts about Steamboat and everything. I'm kind of sad, like, that he wasn't more into it. Not into it, but
Mhm.
like wanted to be around as much. He was definitely like, he liked the schedule of like the Crockett guys where like it wasn't
Mhm.
340 days on the road because I think he's so talented. If you go back and
Yeah.
you watch those matches with Ric Flair, those matches are amazing as well. I think he's one of the best workers around that time.
Yeah, it would have been funny if he like said to Vince after that match because he asked the reason why he kind of got fucked over is he asked for time off as soon as
Yeah.
that match was, and that was stupid. Like why? But if he said I'm all in, I'm giving you 1,000%, I would be interesting to see what would have happened between him and Savage because Ricky Steamboat had so much momentum after that match, and he kind of
Yep.
derailed it because of his stupid fucking kid. No, I'm joking. Because of his, he put on hold for the family, but it would have been interesting to see where he could have went. But
Imagine like a trilogy of those matches where they dragged
oh
it out like for almost another year. And then you could have even had that going into 4 somehow, or even like the last match, like the winner of that for the title. I mean, it could have just been, you
that
could
could
have
have
so
been
many
the
things with that.
that could have been the main event of WrestleMania 4.
Yeah.
Those two closing it out. I mean, but I know DiBiase was hot and stuff at the time. But
Hmm.
what could have been? But what are you gonna do? Next up, WrestleMania 4. What's your favorite?
In one of the worst WrestleManias ever, which I think
Yeah.
now this is my least favorite WrestleMania. Actually, up there, there's another one. When we get to it, I'll tell you.
Okay.
But the main event was my favorite.
Me too.
I really loved. Well, I'm a big fan of DiBiase. He was my favorite
Mhm.
heel. And seeing Savage, I mean, talk about that arc.
Yeah.
Seeing Savage win the belt and holding Elizabeth on his shoulder, and Hogan was involved. It was really, I think, a match that even if it was not the tournament and you had Macho Man versus DiBiase for the title, I would have been all in on it too.
Yeah, it's a really good match. It's short, it's sweet. Um, but it tells a really good story with Hogan and with
Hmm.
Andre and with Elizabeth. And there's another moment with Savage. It's very, very brief, but during the celebration, Hogan is touching Liz a little bit too long, and Macho Man looks at him for the briefest of second. I don't know if you ever noticed it. He looks at him just for like a
No.
brief second, like, is this mother? And then he stops.
Now I got to
But
go back and watch it.
but like because they knew where they were going a year later. But like
Yeah.
again, like it's just like okay, this guy's on the top of the world, but for a brief second, he's still a motherfucker. He's still like,
Yeah.
is this guy really? Why is he touching her so like instead of just
Yeah.
celebrating? But Hogan, like the way Hogan puts him over, the way everything, it was just I thought it was really good. But you're right, that Mania is fucking atrocious.
Yeah. It was, I mean, I understand the idea of it. What
Hmm.
I would like to have seen, maybe, if I going back, what I would, if I was booking it, you had those matches on TV leading up to it.
Mm-hmm.
where you had the main event. But of course, they wanted Andre and Hogan was the main thing, or even to have a couple of matches going into it. Or maybe you had Andre and the semifinals where you had them on it, or just even just a rematch,
Yeah.
just them going at it again as a grudge match. But I understand the concept was a good idea. It just wasn't executed very well because,
Mm.
especially back then, you kind of knew who was going to win just because it was heels and baby faces. You had to have heels going against baby faces. It wasn't going to
Yeah.
have a face versus face, so it
Yeah,
wasn't one of my
I
favorites.
mean, you knew they were gonna do like Hogan Steamboat at the finale, or even Hogan
Yeah,
Savage. You knew, and that's the thing. Like they worked so hard at getting rid of all the over wrestlers. So at the end of the tournament, it's like one man gang, Savage, and DiBiase. Like, yeah, it's gonna be one man gang. He's
one
gonna
man
win.
gang's going to win the title tonight. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's like it's so obvious who. So yeah, I did like Savage's effort, and he's like the whole show, Savage. But
Well,
that
yeah,
meant
I mean that culminated the whole him going to the tournament and making him the guy.
yeah, but it was pretty good. All right, 5. What's your favorite?
Mega powers explode.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Because and just not the match itself was great, but the year leading up to this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'll never see this again. You'll never see a program like this where they give it this much time. Everything's a month now because of pay-per-views. But this was really a story they told. I mean, one of the best pieces of storytelling ever.
Mm-hmm.
From them when they got together, you knew it was happening when they got together. You knew eventually it was going to turn. And just the way they did it and the match, the Savage is so good. I
He's
mean,
so good. He's like a panther. He's running so fast.
yeah. I mean, I'm such a Hogan guy. I was, especially as a kid, and I didn't appreciate Savage at the time, but when I go back and I watch this match, I'm like, God damn, he was so fucking good.
He's so fucking good.
Yeah.
I agree. The one funny thing about this and 4, and also 7, but I don't want to talk about 7 yet, but is I don't know if you've noticed when rewatching, but Donald Trump's in the front row, and
You
he's
know who
loving it.
noticed that? My nephew.
Oh, okay.
It was funny. I was showing him the match because every once in a while he asks us to see like matches that I like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, do you want to watch a newer one? Or you want to watch an old school one? He goes, old school. So we're watching that match and he's like, he calls me Uncle Cheese. He goes, Uncle Cheese, why is President Trump at WrestleMania? I go, well, buddy, I said, there's a long history with him.
Yeah.
So I had to explain that he owned the building and that he's actually in the WWE Hall of Fame. And I have a book of every single and I showed him in the book. And he doesn't get it. He goes, why was the president part of this? I'm like, well, he wasn't the president at the time.
Yeah, you just own the casinos. I thought if one of us showed up from 2020 and entered that building right then and there and told Hogan and Savage and Trump and Jesse Ventura what was going on right now. WrestleMania is in an empty building. There's a virus. You're the president. It sounds like the plot of the fucking Terminator.
Yeah, Hogan, you look like Savage now with that beard. I mean,
yeah, you're dead, Savage. You married your high school sweetheart. Elizabeth dies of a drug overdose. So Lex Luthor. Be like, what kind of fucking?
Yeah, they put us in a loony bin. We all straight jacket.
Oh, it sounds like the shittiest horror film ever made. But this is our reality.
That's the reality we live in.
But yeah, it was. I think it's a great match. I think it's one of Hogan's best matches, bar none.
Yes, I think so too.
Mm-hmm. All right, 6.
6 was, again, I'm a Hogan guy, so Hogan and Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about, even as a Hogan fan, I like that Hogan lost.
Yeah, me too.
And it's, and as I was a wrestling fan going back, that's how you put somebody over. I mean, he did everything he could to make Warrior the guy. And the match, though, as bad as Warrior was as a wrestler, Hogan got a great match with them. It was back and forth. Power versus power, and I think the story was great too. I mean, it was the first time they had face versus face, but it worked.
Mm-hmm.
I wish, listening to Something to Wrestle, they were actually toying with the idea of turning Hogan heel. I wish they would have done it because it would have been
that would have been crazy. That would have that would have been interesting.
Yeah, but that to me was was my favorite match of that night, and the whole night was built around it. It was the first time the Intercontinental Championship was on the line versus the World Championship. And to me, it was one of the last great, really, main events that they had for a while.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about that match, I was rewatching it, is that Hogan doesn't play the power guy in the match. He
No.
kind of like switches his arsenal to being more technical. If you watch, he's like
Hmm.
doing more. He's almost like he's becoming like a Shawn Michaels or a Triple H in that match. And Ultimate Warrior is the power guy.
You
So
had to. I mean, yeah, you
yeah,
had to, because Warrior. I'm a fan of. I was a fan of Warrior, but the guy couldn't
yeah.
wrestle.
Yeah, but like that was interesting. So he becomes. You know what's so funny about Hulk Hogan is that Hulk Hogan changes up his moveset. People always say, "Oh, Hogan's a shitty wrestler." Hogan changes up his moveset when the occasion calls for it. Like he's
Yes.
not gonna do power moves on a guy who can't work. He's gonna become the worker. And when he's fighting like a Chris Benoit, although he never did, but if he was,
Hmm.
he become the power guy for the little guy. You know what I mean? Like Hogan changes up his moveset and stuff, and I just feel like a lot of days, like especially in WWE, I hate to keep bringing this guy up, but Seth Rollins is gonna be Seth Rollins. Doesn't matter if he's fighting Andre the Giant or fucking Ricochet. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys
So,
changing it up. It's a big. It's like Jericho. To me,
mhm.
I'm sure we'll talk about him a bunch like coming up, but guys like that can change their style and
In a
adapt to a
second.
match. I mean, talk about Hogan, like even like he had that match with Goldberg in the Georgia Dome that when he put him over for the title.
Yeah.
Hogan had to be the technical guy and got the best match out of him. I think anybody in that era did.
Oh yeah, 100%. Kevin Nash can do it. Yeah.
No,
All right, 7. What's your favorite in 7?
Ultimate Warrior, Randy Savage retirement
Mhm.
match. Again, I like the story going up to this, and it was kind of Savage. You know, and especially what happened at the end of it, of course. With
Oh, yeah. That is the
so it was
best WrestleMania moment, I think, in history. I think.
especially me because I'm a big rom com fan, so I like
Yeah.
romantic comedies. And they already started. Elizabeth was in the crowd, and it was talk about another character arc. Here he went from being like one of the most hated guys in the company, and into the match, and then at the end of the match, he was the sweetheart again. He was the darling. But again,
Yeah.
Savage, so good. I mean,
So,
you go back, he got another Warrior, made Warrior look good. And I think that's what the thing with Warrior, you had to put him with a guy like that because he had all those matches, especially with Rick Rude, where he didn't have to carry the load. And just watching Savage work, it was I took him for granted as a kid. As I
yeah.
go back and look at it, I definitely did.
Again, like another, again, everybody says Warriors are horrible. And I agree. He wasn't like, but he had 2 of the best matches in like WrestleMania fucking history.
He
Uh,
had even he had great matches with Rude too. Like he was in good
mhm.
situations.
Yeah.
And listen, not everybody's a technical wrestler. Not everybody's Bret Hart. Not everybody's Bret and
Mhm.
Shawn. You're not gonna have 2 guys that are gonna be like that. But you put him with a guy who can carry the load. Warrior was a great character. It was a
Yeah.
big power guy, and they promoted him well. And you put him with the right opponent, and the matches are great.
Yeah. 7 was my first ever WrestleMania party. My friend he used to live across from me. All the kids in my class came to watch it. And we were going ballistic for Elizabeth. And we're a bunch of little kids. Like,
Mhm.
we were all 10 years old. Fucking going bananas for these 2 getting back together. And it was really like the first time, like, a long term thing in my life paid off. Because I've been following Savage since I was like 5.
Yeah.
And he's got his woman back. He lost everything.
Yep.
And the best line, and they would never do this line now because everything's about the title in the WWE universe. He said he lost the match. This is what Gorilla Monsoon says. He lost the match, but he got something even better, his woman.
Yep.
And I thought that was a great way to like just end this character's story arc for now. Like it's just a great. You watched him lose everything, gain everything, lose everything again, and now all he needs is this woman. He doesn't need his
That's
fucking career.
no.
You
It
know?
was it was great. It was the perfect, and that could have been a main event. I mean, that
Oh
could have.
yeah.
I mean, if they would have closed on that, that would have been the perfect
I mean, we
ending.
were all excited Hogan won the belt, but like that match just
Yeah.
exhausted us. We were just so going crazy for that match. Yeah,
Yeah, not that and they put it perfectly. They put it in the middle of the card.
yeah. And then they
Because if
did
that
the
was
15. That's when they used to do 15-minute intermissions. So
yep.
yeah,
Because if you had that, I mean, that to me that stands out from that night.
yeah, 100%. Number 8. Which is your favorite?
Piper and Brett
Oh, really? Okay.
for the Intercontinental title, and I love the promos leading up to this. Piper was just the best, one of the
Hmm.
best talkers ever. There's one promo he cut about like, he's like, we could be friends afterwards. So I feed my family. You want to come for a fight? We're gonna have a fight. To me, this was a great match. I love Piper as Intercontinental Champion. I thought he should have had a shot at run with the world title.
Oh, me too.
And this is kind of like when Bret was a single star, and kind of the start really of Bret the Hitman Hart. And to me, that match was the standout of the night. I didn't like the other matches. I thought, and maybe because I wanted so bad Hogan versus Flair. We waited so long for it. It was the two guys that you always were like, well, Flair was the NWA's Hogan, and Hogan was our guy, and we could have had those matches together. And I did not like Sid versus Hogan. The match with Randy and Flair to me was good, but I wanted the other main event so bad, and I really just enjoyed Piper and Bret going at it.
Okay. I like Savage Flair. I enjoyed that match. I like the work. I like seeing Flair. It's just so odd to see Flair like at an old school WrestleMania with the, you know what I mean? He's dressed like the NWA and he has the belt. And, I thought it was good. You're right. I wanted Hogan. I wanted Hogan Flair too, and I was so pissed when they didn't do it. But I have to say, the storyline they built with Macho Man
was great.
Was great. Here's the thing, though. I do think a better Mania would have been Jake the Snake and Savage, and Hogan and fucking Flair, and then maybe I guess you do Sid Justice and Undertaker. I guess maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you could put Sid with anybody. I mean, it wasn't. I understand they wanted to build Sid up and everything, and Sid and Hogan, but do something even maybe. Don't have Sid wrestle that night, and maybe he helps Flair win, and then you can go if you wanted to keep, and then you can go like the next pay-per-view or whatever down the road with that. But we waited so long for, I think, Flair and Hogan to be in the same company, and just about the top of their careers, and we were robbed of that. So to me, I guess it just left a bad taste in my mouth. It still does. I'm still bitter about it.
I just think that also Hogan was also taking time off, so like, well, we can't fucking put the belt on this guy. We can't have Flair beat him. Because at the time they didn't have heels win at WrestleMania, so they were like,
yeah, and Vince will never have NWA/WCW guy go over
on top at Mania.
Yeah,
Flair's the best, but that's not gonna happen. Yeah, so I guess
Hogan's the best.
Yeah, so but I did like the Savage match. Okay, 9. This is a weird one.
This is my worst, tied for 4 with worst WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like any of the matches really. If I like one match, it was HBK and Tatanka. I really enjoyed. It's the one match I actually really enjoyed. Tatanka was really good. I forgot how good he was. I actually watched this match not too long ago, and it was the first, I think, talk about like guys kind of breaking off on their own. HBK really getting into that Heartbreak Kid character.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the Mania, though, to me was not good.
It's not a good Mania, which is funny because on paper it looked like it was going to be a good Mania. Like I thought I was excited for Doink and Crush at the time.
Yeah,
Perfect and Luger. I thought, how could you fuck that up? My favorite match is Bret and Yokozuna. What happened?
Oh, you like that? They messed that match up. You think about
you mean the Mr. Perfect one?
Perfect, yeah. That was not.
How is that not a good? I thought Perfect could have pulled something out of him. I guess I was wrong. I liked Bret Hart Yoko.
You like Bret and Yoko? Okay, I'll give it to you. I can give it to you.
I mean, I didn't. It's not my favorite Bret match. Here's the deal. On that card, it's the most interesting match. It's not, it's not the best Bret match, but it's not the best. But on that card, if you put that match on any other card. You put that match at WrestleMania 4, Savage is destroying that match. Savage's match. But for that night, I thought that was the most interesting match.
Okay. I will give that to you.
And I do like the Hogan twist at the end. Like the Hogan twist is so fucking ridiculous.
Well,
that he just gets a match 3 seconds after
he comes out. Yeah, and the whole thing where like it's such bad like wrestling acting. Like Bret can't see, and he's rubbing his eyes, and then he's just pointing, and Hogan's like he's looking around like he's lost, but yeah.
I didn't see. Oh, sorry. To finish. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I wish that Bret and Yoko went longer, but now listening to like these podcasts and shoot interviews, Yoko couldn't go longer. He was waiting. He was done.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I wish was different.
I remember like I didn't see this one live, and I wasn't because I wasn't really too into it. I'm like, Hogan has a tag match. But I remember going into school and I said, "My friend, how was WrestleMania?" He goes, "Oh, Hogan's the champ." I'm like, "What? How did that happen?" I just assumed like maybe like Yokozuna died on his way to the arena or something? Like, why? How did Hogan get the belt? He wasn't even the fucking match. You know, like it wasn't like there was Money in the Bank back then, and Hogan had it.
How did he get the? Yeah, it was like Rollins coming down. He died.
Yeah, it's like, how did Hogan get the match? It's like, oh, Hogan just why would they just? It was just made no sense even as a kid. But I was like, well, I'm happy Hogan has the belt because I was still a Hogan guy. So
yeah, as a Hogan guy, I was happy, but I didn't like the way he got it.
Yeah, it was weird. It's weird now rewatching. You're like, what the fuck? 10.
Yeah.
What's your favorite in 10?
Owen and Brett.
Me too. Yeah.
Oh my God, this match, absolutely phenomenal. Could have headlined the event. I mean, and I wish it was for the title. I still wish Owen had a run with the belt. He was just so goddamn good. Brother versus brother, and I like what they did. They had Owen win.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't, and Brett had that match later on. You didn't.
Yeah.
Like, how's he going to wrestle again? He just wrestled 20 minutes against Owen, and he's lost. I mean, do you have anything left? But to me, that was, I think, the best match of the night. And I like the main event. I like watching Brett get the title in Madison Square Garden. They carried him on his shoulders. But overall, to me, that Owen and Brett tore the house down.
Oh, yeah. I agree 1,000%. What do you think of that ladder match that everybody jerks off over?
I love the match. I do. And if Owen and Brett weren't on that card, that has it.
Yeah.
I think the ladder matches, I don't think it's as great as everybody says it is.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
I don't think it's the best match of all. Like, everybody's like, oh my God, because they've had better ladder matches since then. It was like the first of its kind. It was great, but the match is a little overrated for me. That's not to take anything away from it. It's still an amazing match, but you had a better match with Owen and Brett. I mean, that was.
Yeah. So let me give you more background on me as a kid. So after Hogan left WWE, I kind of was like, you know what? This is fucking stupid. Like, I kind of got over wrestling, and I was like getting older. I was like 12, 13. I'm like, and then I was like embarrassed. I don't know if you ever went through a phase, but I did.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed. I like this shit phase.
Right around almost the same time, because I only really watched the Manias.
I didn't even watch Mania, and I thought the red, white, blue like Express shit was fucking horrendous.
It was the worst.
Fully checked out, got into comic books, video games, and fucking reading, and I was just like, I'm done. And I remember
read books now. That's how bad it is. I'm gonna start reading books.
Yeah, that's how bad I thought the fucking show was. I would go to my friend's house to watch Raw, and I'm like, oh, how can you watch this baby shit? This is baby shit. Like, oh, it's so bad. But I remember people saying, like, oh, Brett and Owen, it's just I'm sorry, HBK Razor changed his wrestling. So finally, when I got back in years later, I was like, this changed wrestling. I mean, it's okay, but it's no. When I saw that Brett Owen match, I'm like, why aren't people talking about this? This is the match that fucking changed.
That's the match that, I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, the spectacle of the ladder match is what it is, and it was the first of its kind. But I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, watching those two go at it, I mean, that's nothing better to me. I mean, that was the night for me.
Yeah, fucking awesome. All right, so this is still in my dark age wrestling fan. I was like, fuck it. 11. What's your favorite match at 11?
Because I am a New York Giants fan, it was Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
Okay.
Again, this is when I wasn't really as much into it. I watched it really because Lawrence Taylor. I was really almost checked out totally at this point. I kind of got back into it with this because I started like following it again because of Lawrence Taylor. And I forgot, looking back how good Bam Bam was.
Oh, he is so underrated and so downplayed, which is bullshit.
One of the best big men of all time. I think they had a decent match. It was entertaining. As a New York Giants fan, it was fun watching LT in the ring. Runner up, I like Diesel and Shawn. I like that match as well. But I think for me, still looking back at that match, I think it was Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam.
Okay, I like Diesel and Shawn. Again, this is when I was out of it, so like I knew about this Mania, but like I wasn't into football, so I was like, Lawrence Taylor's main event in WrestleMania, boy. Like it went from Hogan Savage to this, but like years later rewatching this. First of all, I think this is also a pretty bad WrestleMania. I mean,
Yeah, it wasn't a good
wasn't
WrestleMania.
a good WrestleMania.
But I got this just for I was kind of checked out, like I said, but it was Lawrence Taylor that got me
Yeah.
back into it.
But this match, I think, again, when I was out of it, somebody said to me, one of my friends said, Shawn Michaels is now one of the best wrestlers in the world. I'm like, the fucking rocker guy? Because I had not seen Hell in a Cell or anything of his. Like, the
Yeah.
fucking rocker guys that, who's the second best? Fucking Tully Blanchard? Get the fuck, I don't know. I was just, because Hogan, Warrior, tell me the rocker guy's the best wrestler in the world. But I think this is the match where he proved to everyone, I can be in a ring with the big guys and I can hang.
Yes.
I can hang with Hogan, Savage. Look at me. And Diesel can barely work at this point, and I'm making him a superstar. And I think this is the match that proved to Vince he could be a top guy.
Yeah, with HBK, he was going against Sid and Taker and those guys. You never had a doubt that he wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
Because he was just that good.
Yeah, and I think this is the match that kind of set that up. So it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I think more so than like the ladder match. This is the match that kind of put Shawn Michaels from like the nerdy, like not nerdy, but like the kind of like the goofy foil to this guy could be.
Yeah, main event. Yeah, he was the main event guy.
Yeah, the 12.
I have a tie.
Okay.
Piper and Goldust, just for the spectacle of it and the everything that went into it. And I love Bret and Shawn, the Iron Man match, and I like that it was a big part of Mania. There wasn't a lot of matches on this card.
No, there weren't.
That match went over an hour, and I like that. And it's something again we won't see that an Iron Man match for an hour. It told such a story, and yet these two guys who were you're coming out of that, you're talking about like Hogan and Warrior, like that it was bigger than life, and these are two guys who are average size just about and put on one hell of a match. So I like Piper and Goldust for the show of it, and the wrestling part of it, Bret and Shawn.
See, I love Piper and Goldust. That to me, I think that's the only good thing on this show. I really don't like this show 12. I don't like the Iron Man match. I tried to get into, but it's just like, there's no like drama there because like I think it would have been better if they got pinfalls on each other. You know what I mean? Like if one of them was trying to catch up to the other with points.
Yeah.
But I love Piper Goldust. It's so fucking ridiculous, and I love both those guys.
The chase almost like it was like OJ with the Bronco and
oh yeah, it was so fucking funny, and the way they come back to the arena and they strips Goldust. Yeah, I love that match. That is.
So you didn't like that there wasn't pin. See, I liked that there wasn't pinfalls.
See, like that's. Again, I didn't watch this Mania. Every now and then I'd be like, well, what's Mania? And my kids in my class would tell me, oh, this year's going to be Bret and HBK 60 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Because I was out of it. I fell out of it again, like around King of the Ring 93. So I'm like, the fuck, they're going to have a fucking Iron Man match? Get the fuck out of here. So, like, I didn't give a shit. So I didn't get to watch it until years later. And when I got to that, I was just kind of went on and on and on. And I was like, all right, like there was no drama in who won or who lost to me.
Okay, I get what you're saying now. Yeah, but I don't know. To me, that it is because like I look at it like this, like a hockey fan. You watch a hockey game, and if it's 0-0 going into overtime and the game-winning goal, to me that's what it kind of had that feel, like a sporting event where like no one scored. And then finally, they got that pinfall and the whole thing. I mean, the whole thing was great. It just zip line and
No, that's a cool entrance. I mean, now I like it, but like when I first watched this when I rented the VHS tape, I was like, oh yeah, Goldust Piper. That's my match.
Kevin Nash told a great story about the match he had with Shawn at Mania, where he took the worst powerbomb ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And someone was like, well, he said, you were good friends with him. Are you mad about him? He goes, no. He goes, the guys in your car, you didn't let them fuck with you. He wanted the top spot. And he goes, you think it worked? And he goes, well, did you see Diesel going down a fucking zip line at the next WrestleMania? No.
Oh, yeah. He was jobbing Undertaker. All right. 13. What's your favorite?
My next 13 was Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And I still love this match more than anything almost to this day. It's my top 5 matches. It really was like Stone Cold was now the guy, even though he lost. He wouldn't give up. Bret had the heel turn. The making of Stone Cold and then leading into the whole Attitude Era. I think this was the beginning of it, and I still watch this match, and to me, it's still one of my all-time favorites.
This is my favorite match of all time. I actually met Brett at Caroline's, and I told him that. I said, "This is the match." Yeah, yeah, he was doing an autograph signing, and I sat down with him and talked about this match.
Oh, that's awesome.
This match, and I told him that this match got me back into wrestling. So, like, somebody had got me for the N64. Sorry, my dogs are chewing some weird. Okay, what are you guys chewing? Hold on, sorry about it. Okay, what is this? Oh, this is jewelry. Hold on. I'm gonna pause this. No, give me a second. All right?
Okay.
I'll tell the story, but I'm not on camera. So,
Okay.
Holy shit! What are you motherfuckers chewing? They took my aunt's rosary bead. You can't chew this shit.
They're praying during this time.
Well, they're gonna be fucking them splitters in their assholes. Sorry, I don't want to stop. But anyway, so somebody got me WCW NWO World Tour on the N64, right?
Okay.
And have you ever played that game?
Yes.
Isn't it? That game's incredible. I love it.
It's
I hadn't been really watching wrestling at all, and I could play that game, and I fucking loved it. And so what happened was, I said, let me rent the latest Wrestlemania, which was 13, because this came out at the end of 97. I said, let me rent the latest Wrestlemania. So I rent it, and I got to that match, and I got back into wrestling. I was like, how the fuck did I not like wrestling all these years? I got right back into it. And that was like January of 98, and I never looked back. So, yeah, that match got me back into wrestling. And then I started going to my friend's house, watching Raw and Nitro every Monday. We had Nitro parties. Well, Raw and Nitro parties every fucking Monday, me and my friends.
Yeah, we did that too.
I've never looked back, you know?
Absolutely. Great.
Yeah.
The top, one of my favorite matches of all, it's up there. It's maybe one or two for me.
Yeah, fucking phenomenal match. I love it. All right, 14. What's your favorite match?
I love that Stone Cold beat Shawn, but I didn't like the match so much. My favorite match actually on this card was Triple H and Owen.
Really? Okay.
Stone by a wrestling match? Yeah, I mean, I like Mania moments where like guys kind of take that next step, and I think that was this for Triple H. After, especially what happened the next night. This was kind of like the coronation of Triple H. I liked his entrance. I'm a big fan of Owen. Always puts on a good match.
Mm-hmm.
To me, going by match wise, this was my favorite match of the night. But I did love Stone Cold finally winning the title.
Yeah, my favorite match on this, I did like Stone Cold win the title, and I did like the Kane match. But my favorite match actually on this night was Sable and Mark Merrill versus Goldust and Luna. That's my favorite match.
That was a good match. I also like the dumpster match too with Cactus Jack and Terry Funk.
That's a good match. Yeah,
Chainsaw Charlie.
The reason why I liked sorry, I'm just making sure. Like, okay, we're good.
It's okay.
Sorry. You know what? You goddamn dogs. Sorry about that. I have two dogs.
Right.
The reason why I like that Sable match is I feel like it's the first match where they actually took the woman character seriously, as in characters that could actually fight back and get in the angles and